Well, here we are at the end of Season 1. It's been quite the journey. But before we say goodbye to this season and hello to the next one, let's take a few minutes to honour some important highlights from the first 13 episodes of Reboot. I'm the guy who wears a hat, and this is my Reboot Season 1 retrospective. Let's break down the episodes by score. This is which of the 4 categories the episode ended up in. First, the 0 out of 3 category. And here, I am happy to say we had absolutely no episodes show up. Next, we have the 1 out of 3 category. Here we had 1 episode, or 8% of the season, in the belly of the beast. Next, we have the 2 out of 3 category. Here we had 7 episodes, or 54% of the season, so the majority of the episodes ended up in this category. The Tearing, Racing the Clock, The Quick and the Fed, Medusa Bug, The Tiff, Enzo the Smart, The Great Brain Robbery. And finally we have the 3 out of 3 category, the cream of the crop, and here we had 5 episodes, or 38% of the season. The Crimson Binome, Wizards, Warriors, and a Word from Our Sponsor, Talent Night, Identity Crisis Part 1, Identity Crisis Part 2. Next, let's honour the authors who brought these stories to life. TV is effectively visual storytelling, and I think it is always important to honour those storytellers. I should also note that I am not listing out those credited with story by credits in the episodes, only those who had writer credits. And there were 4 such people involved in this season of Reboot. We had Mark Edens, who co-wrote 2 episodes of the season, giving him an 8% contribution overall. It's always hard to comment on co-authors, because you're never sure exactly what their contribution to the overall narrative was. Who took lead on these 2 stories that Mark Edens was involved in? It's hard to say, but these are 2 solid and fun, albeit a bit cheesy tales. Mark Edens' name passes by me with neither a huge thumbs up or a thumbs down. We had Mark Hoffmeyer, who co-wrote 1 episode and wrote 2 episodes, giving him 2.5 episodes, or 19% of the season. Mark Hoffmeyer obviously understands the more jovial and humorous aspect of the show, but unfortunately with In the Belly of the Beast on his credit, which I consider the weakest episode of this season, I would have to say his overall contribution thus is the weakest. I would have loved to have seen Mr. Hoffmeyer tackle one of the more serious episodes in the series, but alas, we never get that chance. We had Jono Howard, who co-wrote 1 episode and wrote 3 episodes, giving him 3.5, or 27% of the season. Well, Jono Howard gets nothing but thumbs up from me, the co-author of episode 9 and our author of Reboot's only 2-parter in the entire series. The first big grow-up step the series really takes. And we can thank Mr. Howard for keeping the humour, wit, and adventure of the series, while giving it the mature theme that fits so well to the series, actually. And we had Lane Richard, who co-wrote 4 episodes and wrote 4 additional episodes, giving him a total of 6, or 46% of the season. Is Mr. Richard the Rod Serling of the Reboot series? Not exactly, but not only a prolific author, but also a very diverse one, delivering a range of episodes from everything from the chilling Medusa Bug all the way to the laugh-a-minute romp that is Talent Night. All television programs are visual experiences, but one thing that sets Reboot apart was its pioneering visuals. You need some pretty talented and gifted people to bring the world's first CGI show to life, and those animators continue to knock it out of the park again and again, paving the way for others to create other work in the same medium. It cannot be ignored just how valuable their contribution to the visual medium is, and just how awesome some of the visual moments in this series are. This was an incredibly hard list to do, but in honor of this amazing show, here are my top 3 visual victories in Reboot Season 1. Number 3, everything has gone 8-bit from Episode 8, Enzo the Smart. Perhaps there is an irony to one of my favourite visual effects literally being a visual downgrade, but this was just such a clever visual gag. To show the audience that Enzo had doomed a mainframe to idiocy, everyone gets very, very pixelated. For those who understand clock speed and bit rate, there is a cleverness that would no doubt fly over the heads of young viewers. I have no idea how tough this was to do, but I do know how cool it looked. Very. Number 2, A Dungeon Deep, from Episode 9, Wizards, Warriors, and a Word from our sponsor. As I mentioned in this episode's full review, the visual team had an absolute field day putting this together. Something amazing is happening in every scene, and special attention should be drawn to the monsters used in this game. They are all so diverse, and seem to draw upon dozens of separate visual inspirations. From spiders to carrot men, this dungeon has it all, and more. And number 1, Hexadecimal, from Episode 2, Racing the Clock, and Episode 4, Medusa Bug. Hexadecimal might be the greatest villain ever created. Sorry, Megabyte. From the moment we see her, we recognize that there is a being here of untold power, and we see very soon that were it not for her utter madness and love of chaos, she would have mainframe wrapped around her finger. What are her motives? Does she even have any? Who knows? But one thing I can say, taking a trip to Los Angeles is a trip of a lifetime. Don't forget to pop in to say hello. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you. Voice acting is a tough profession. You are in charge of bringing these animated characters to life. And you don't get to use your body language or posture or eyes, just your voice. And it never carries the same recognition as live action acting does. But Reboot brings with it some immense talent that is every part as important as the rest of the aspects of this show's production. To honor this, I shall present my top 5 favourite lines from Season 1. I've selected 5 actors to honor and chosen a moment where their delivery made all the difference.
Well, blow me down! By my reckon, you scurvy dog, this'll be none other than a Guardian key tool. A rare find indeed. Mr. Christopher!
Here?
A 2,000-unit bonus to Miss Sally and Mr. Andrew. They've looted a real treasure on this one, mates. But what's a Guardian key tool doing in such a small port?
Look, pal, I gotta feed this whole room. I got a partner on my back for this big takeout order. And Al back there only runs at 3 decahertz.
What?
You gotta wait online like everyone else, okay?
Don't touch that dial! You're tuned to the commercial channel! All commercials, all the time!
An eternity of useless products to rot your skeevy little mind forever.
No. You were right, old friend. I am immune. Lucky me. Let Hexadecimal turn all my friends into stone, destroy mainframe, and get away with it? I don't think so.
And what have we here? Unscheduled work pause? Temporary program crash? Contemplated rebellion? Really? Now who would be fool enough to disturb my sector's order and calm?
It pains me to do this, but not every moment in the first season of Reboot was a shining beacon of brilliant storytelling. So which of those episodes shined a little less brightly than the others? Well, let's find out. Here are my worst episodes of Season 1. First, our runner-up. The Great Brain Robbery, Episode 10. Written by Jono Howard.
Megabyte, honey? Rule number 1. Don't ever try to double-cross the mouse.
Rule number 2, I double-cross whomever I please.
Warning. Compression field destabilizing. Re-enlargement imminent.
We've got nanoseconds before we return to our normal size. Care to navigate?
I mean, this episode got a 2 out of 3, so it's good and worth watching. But something had to be near the bottom, and there's 2 few reasons this one didn't get the same pass other episodes of its score did. First, the whole Fantastic Voyage premise is a little convoluted. But more than that, once Megabyte realizes he can get to the core, I needed to know what the heck the core was to really care. The other thing is, while the episode is lots of fun, it seems like a step backwards in terms of returning to the cheesy feel of the early tales. Flawed, but still worthy of a viewing, for sure. And the worst episode of Season 1 is In the Belly of the Beast, Episode 6, written by Mark Hoffmeyer.
Ah, contentious to the last. Very admirable. Open him, now.
Open him? As in operate? No! No!
The boy doesn't need to see this. He served his purpose.
The only actually bad tale in this season. In the Belly of the Beast inflicts bad villain decay on Megabyte, and asks us to believe a little boy and a dog could throw this super-powered foe with a huge army into complete disarray. Not to mention, Frisket is really sick, and then he's not? I know Bob gave him a pick-me-up or whatever, but it would have added to the drama if we could have seen that flare up now and then. How would I have changed this? Maybe put Enzo and Frisket in a GameCube instead. Then we get the same tension without kicking Megabyte around. Anyways, if you need all the reboot you can get, give it a view. Otherwise, it's safe to skip it. There's little argument that Season 1 of Reboot starts off the series with a bang and delivers some of the greatest animated television stories of all time. But which of those stories shone the brightest and will leave the biggest impression on the audience? Well, let's find out together. Here are my best episodes of Season 1. First, my runner-up, Identity Crisis Part 2, Episode 13, written by Jono Howard.
I knew you wouldn't let me down. Fong? What are you doing here?
It's a long story. Fong?
What you are experiencing is a temporary distortion of reality. It is one of the side effects of the process I put you through. This is an RDE, a reality distortion engine. Its disrupting waves move backward into the past and forward into the future, like ripples in a pond.
A very worthy end-of-season story. We really see Reboot take its first big steps towards growing up with its audience. The same wit, humor, and fun will prevail, but you definitely get the feeling that not everything is going to be as cut and dry as earlier in the series. The visuals are so impressive, and the plot is creepy, tense, and very satisfying. And it only goes uphill from here. And the best episode of Season 1 is Wizards, Warriors, and a Word from Our Sponsor, Episode 9, written by Jono Howard and Lane Richard.
Stop!
Can't we just turn him off?
I can't. His remote control ran away.
Can you blame it?
It's bucket o' nothing!
Surprise your friends, amaze your family, annoy perfect strangers!
It's absolutely nothing.
Free for only $99.99.
That's it! You're getting dismantled. Glitch, screwdriver.
Am I allowed to say that an episode is practically perfect and delivers everything you could want in a 25-minute show? Because that's kind of what I want to do here. If I had only one shot to sell someone on Reboot and had to choose one episode from the first season to show them, this would be the one. You can tell they had a blast making this, and as a result, the audience has a blast too. Something cool is happening every moment of this adventure, and the comedic timing is absolute solid gold. It just goes to show that you can take a concept like throw 3 characters in animate television into a rip-off of Dungeons & Dragons and come out with brilliance when everyone involved is at their A-game. So that's the first season of Reboot. Are you excited for what's to come? Because I know I am. I'll see you really soon for my reviews of Reboot Season 2. Till next time.